Hey, it's Deshaun Watson Day. We're the All49ers Roundtable. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Niner Nick Newman, Maverick Pallack. There's a report that came out a few hours ago. Basically, I don't know if you guys read the article. It read like it was Watson's agent himself who wrote the thing. I mean, the level of detail and specificity was just fantastic. Anyway, it seems like in the article, they say Watson's top choices are Miami and the Niners. So we're going to talk a lot about that today because why not? First, though, let's start with the other guy on the Texans, J.J. Watt. One of the best players of his generation, still only 32, younger than me, which makes him young because I'm young. He got cut today. Should the 49ers sign him? Niner Nick, why don't you start?
Yeah. J.J. Watt, he's 3 seasons removed from a 16-sack season. He played in 26 games, including the playoffs, over the course of the last 2 years, picked up 10 sacks. And you hear a lot about the Texans franchise and just how it's so discombobulated. No player has a true good experience playing there. So if J.J. Watt, he's on the free agent market, I believe he's going to be hungrier than ever. And he's been a perennial All-Pro. He's someone that you always want to sign. He's a great guy in the locker room, a great player on the field. Yes, he's on the decline, but I truly feel like he'd be an upgrade over Kerry Hyder, even over Eric Armstead. So whenever you have the opportunity to sign a player like J.J. Watt of his caliber, you have to do it.
I think J.J. Watt is definitely still a good player. He does have some injury concerns, yes, but I think there will be a lot of teams interested in him. Green Bay, he's a Wisconsin guy, so that would be an interesting spot. Chicago. And then I already saw Lawrence in Dallas trying to get him over there. So I think he'll be a popular guy this offseason.
Yeah, he's a terrific player. Of course, the Niners should be interested. If it were baseball and baseball does have a salary cap now. If baseball in the 90s and there were no salary cap, then yeah. I think the equation is we're gonna get to that. Hold on, but good question. I think the equation is if you sign Watt, who are you giving up? Because the Niners don't have unlimited cap space. So if you sign Watt, I think it comes at the expense of Trent Williams. Who would you rather have, Trent Williams or J.J. Watt? That's a legit question. But that's not the only thing. I think you also have to look at the fact that Watt can play anywhere on the defensive line. But I think a little bit like, he's way better than Armstead. But a little bit like Armstead, he's at his best rushing from the interior. Like Armstead, like Kinlaw. And he can play D-end. But I think, I don't know. Is that really the best use of J.J. Watt to bring him here and have him replace D Ford in that role? What do you guys think? I don't know.
I don't think he fits the edge rusher role. I think he would be that Armstead hybrid, bouncing in and out depending on run and passing down situations. I think that's where Watt fits more. It'd be interesting to see him in an edge rusher role, but I think he's much more successful as a 3-4 end.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to see him fit in on this defense with the current personnel, but like one of the viewers just asking the question, if Bosa's out of the picture already and you plug because of a Watson trade, that's where I think it makes the most sense. Where if Bosa is the player traded in a potential Watson trade, you just plug in J.J. Watt right there. And Bosa, his 3rd-year cap hit for being the second overall pick, he's going to be making that. And I don't know what the dead cap would be and what the 49ers would still owe Bosa. But if you plug in J.J. Watt to play that Nick Bosa role for a year until you find a long-term solution, if a Watson trade does go down and Bosa is the player involved, that's a no-brainer.
That's a really good point. So let me follow up with the final follow-up question. Who would you guys rather lock up long-term? Or who would you guys rather sign to a big money contract, Watt or Trent Williams, and why? And again, if you pick one, you're going to have to explain how you're going to address the other position in the draft or free agency.
Well, how much do you think Watt's going to be? Like 16 million?
That's a good point, right? It's a little bit cheaper than Trent Williams.
Well, because if you're going Watt, if you're going defensive line, I don't think they'll be able to afford him. But I mean, Shaq Barrett's going to be what, 21 million?
Yeah.
Would you rather go the $5 extra million for Shaq Barrett? If you're losing Bosa, I think you got to go edge rusher. But I think I'd rather go the defensive player just because I think they can upgrade the offensive line in a couple different ways. Still no rumors on Terran Armstead, but I'm going to say that till it happens or it doesn't. But Trent Williams is going to be probably 23 million, and that's just too much for me because it's going to handicap what they can do with the rest of their roster. If they go Watt and he's 15 million, they can at least re-sign Jason Verrett, or they can also re-sign Kyle Juszczyk, and that helps other positions as well.
Yeah.
The one thing that is interesting to me when talking about what J.J. Watt would demand on the open market is he signed his contract extension like 6 years ago. So he's been making not a lot of money for a premium edge rusher, pass rusher in the NFL. This season, he was scheduled to make, I want to say, $17 million. He was scheduled to make $17.5 million, and that was the most money he was ever set to make in a single season. So he hasn't really gotten a massive contract like we've seen Joey Bosa get, like Nick Bosa is going to demand. When it comes down to Trent Williams or J.J. Watt, I have to go with Trent Williams because it's a lot harder to find the left tackle. And when you look at what the 49ers were able to accomplish this past season on the defensive side of the ball with a guy like Kerry Hyder, you have to prioritize protecting your quarterback. So, yeah, you got to prioritize Trent Williams.
Yeah, when I look at Watt, he looks expensive. The fit isn't perfect. And, again, the Niners' D-line is better than their O-line. So I would lean towards no one Watt. I think the Niners should be spending their money on the offensive line. And that doesn't mean they have to get Trent Williams, but it might mean they get a left tackle and a center and not a defensive end in free agency. But it's worth discussing because J.J. Watt really is a future Hall of Famer, and he would make the Niners a lot better. You can't just – they need to have this meeting internally, and I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know there was a third option available, though. I would have taken the third.
Because I always take the third option on my show. I make the rule. You can do that. What's the third option you like?
Well, what you said. I'd rather get 2 offensive linemen for the price of 1.
Yeah. All right, cool. We agree on that. All right, let's move on to like 4 or 5 straight Watson questions because let's just gorge out. Why not? It's Watson Day. Can the 49ers outbid the Dolphins for Deshaun Watson? If you're just tuning in, there was a report today by Tyler Dunn that basically said the Dolphins are prepared to trade their 2 first-round picks this year. That's number 3 and number 20-something. Their first-round picks next year, that's 3 first-round picks, and Tua, who was their first-round pick last year. I don't know if he still has first-round pick value, but that's essentially 4 first-rounders. That's the price for Deshaun Watson. Can the Niners find a way to outbid Miami for Watson? Can they?
Another important thing to keep in mind is Watson's no trade clause. So if he prefers the 49ers, and even if the compensation that the Texans would be receiving for Deshaun Watson isn't as much as what the Dolphins are offering them, Watson still has the power to say, I want to go to San Francisco. So the Texans may find themselves in a position where they have to take the lesser offer. Another thing to consider, how many people are sold on Tua Tagovailoa? And I don't know if the Texans would necessarily want him because if you're getting that pick from the Dolphins, you have a quarterback drafted in the first round last year, and you're in a position to draft any other quarterback you want for the most part that's not named Trevor Lawrence. You know, the Jets are in front of you there with the 2nd overall pick. So you're looking at, you could get a Justin Fields if you prefer him, Zach Wilson over Tua Tagovailoa. So Nick Bosa, the reports came out about his ACL. I still feel like he has more value than Tua Tagovailoa. That's just my personal opinion. So I think 2 first-round picks and Nick Bosa may not be as enticing as the 3rd overall pick in this year's draft. But if Watson truly wants to come and be a 49er and play for Kyle Shanahan, that's a realistic option because of that no trade clause.
I think the 49ers can outbid the Dolphins depending on how many first-round picks they throw in. There's always a chance to outbid them, but are they willing to do it? I don't know if they would be willing to throw in more than 4 first-round picks. I think that'd probably be the max. And obviously Nick Bosa would equal 2 first-round picks, so that changes everything. I think they could, but like Nick said, Nick Bosa holds more value than Tua and more value than any defensive player the Dolphins would be able to throw in there. So I think the Niners could do it, but I just wouldn't include Bosa unless it was a 1-for-1 swap or a Bosa and 1 first-round pick swap.
Yeah, I think they can do it too if they want to. But the thing is, I don't think they can go pick for pick with Miami. Miami has the 3rd pick in the draft, plus another first this year, plus a first next year. I mean, the Niners can say, we'll give you 4 firsts, but one of those is in 2023 and one of those is in 2024. And you're maybe looking at those picks and being like, well, maybe that's going to be high first-round picks anyway. I don't think the Niners can compete pick for pick. If they want to get in this race, they have to start trading their players, the ones that people like. So if they're willing to, you guys mentioned Bosa. There's other guys too. Warner, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. I mean, who are the players that people want on the Niners? Not Armstead, not Jimmy Ward.
Yeah.
Those are the 5, right? Those are the 5 players that you have to start some combination of those with a pick too. I think that's how they could do it.
The one thing I say to that is, are we sure the Texans want, or obviously they want first round picks as much as they can because they're a rebuilding team, but do they value the first round pick, the teens pick for the Dolphins? Do they value that as much as a first round pick next year? Because they're a rebuilding team. What the Lions did, the Lions took future first round picks because they're going to be needing first round picks for a while. We don't even know if David Coley is going to be their head coach in 2022. That they could go the Jim Tomsula one and done route and try and rebuild once again. So they might be trying to just get as many future assets. And if it goes between having 3 first round picks from the Dolphins, 2 of them being this year, or 4 first round picks from the Niners, and they have them for 4 straight years, a rebuilding team might go that route.
They might.
I was originally with you, but the way the Rams handled the Lions thing, it changed my mind completely.
I'll go back to the Khalil Mack trade. I think the reason the Raiders chose to send him to Chicago instead of the Niners is they assumed the Niners would be better. And they assumed the picks they were going to get back from the Niners would be later in the draft. They were wrong. But that's what it looked like at the time because the Niners had won that 5-game stretch with Jimmy Garoppolo. No one knew he was going to tear his ACL. I do think that's part of the equation. If the Niners offer their picks, would Houston say, well, Deshaun Watson plus Kyle Shanahan, everyone thinks that's going to be a great combination. Maybe these picks aren't going to be as valuable. So it's possible, Maverick. I'm not writing it off, but I do think it'd be tough. I think it'd be tough. But let's move on to a similar topic. So we all agree that it can be done if where there's a will, there's a way here. So what is the most the 49ers should offer Watson? What is the cutoff point where the Niners just have to say, you know what, sorry, that's too much?
For me, it's incorporating 2 of the players that you mentioned. 2 players, even if it's just 1 first-round pick going along with those 2 players, that's where I draw the line. You can't give up 2 of Bosa, Warner, Kittle, Ayuk. That's a little outside of my personal comfort zone. I'd rather at that point try to trade up and get a quarterback in the draft this year. That can be your long-term answer. My ceiling would be going Bosa and maybe 3 first-round picks. My personal preference, though, would just be giving 4 first-round picks and no player compensation whatsoever.
I think they need to see how free agency plays out a little. I know everyone wants the Watson trade to happen ASAP, and it might happen before free agency even really gets going. But I think it depends on what happens at left tackle, because if the 49ers need to draft 2 offensive linemen, that kind of changes what they need with this draft. But what I think could be interesting, and it probably wouldn't get it done, but how about 3 firsts? So this year, the next year, the year after, and either a second this year or a third this year, and Armstead and I know, Grant, you don't value Armstead that highly, but he would take on that J.J. Watt 3-4 defensive end role, which I think fits him better. He would be under contract. The Texans wouldn't have to worry about re-signing him, and he'd be a veteran leader. He would replace the Walter Payton Man of the Year with a guy that has been nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year. He'd be a good marketing person, and he might not be the J.J. Watt level. He probably won't ever be the J.J. Watt level, even from this current J.J. Watt, but he'd be a veteran guy on that defense and someone to put out there. And it would be, instead of a second, it would be a third in Armstead.
Say it again. A third in Armstead for Watson?
Well, no.
That's the most?
No, and 3 ones.
And 3 ones?
So one this year, the next year, and the year after. So 21,
That's
22,
very creative.
23.
That's very creative. I like that. That might get it done. I'm not sure that Armstead has a lot of trade value, not because of his play, but because of his contract. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he does. You made a very good case. I'm going to say that I think I will go further than that. And that's a very aggressive offer. Again, I'm keep coming back to the fact that I'm not sure that Miami's going to want a 2023 first round pick from the Niners when Miami has all this stuff up front. Maybe they will. But I'm thinking what Houston would want from the Niners is a first this year, a first next year, and 2 players. And I'm thinking they're going to want the 2 best ones and on the cheapest amount of money, Bosa and Ayuk. Debo's really good too, but Debo has the injury history. Ayuk's under team control for cheap for 3 more years. Bosa for 2 more years. They're studs. I mean, if Tua is worth something, Bosa's worth way more. Ayuk got to be worth more than the 25th pick they took him with last year. Now, that's a very, very valuable package. The only thing is, from Houston's perspective, okay, we like Bosa, we like Ayuk, we like the picks. How do we replace Watson with this package? Where is the quarterback coming from? And I don't have the answer. Maybe there's someone at 12. Watson was the 12th pick. Maybe they really like Trey Lance. So maybe they would do it. Would you guys? Is that too much? Let me ask you that. Is that too much? First this year, the first next year, Bosa and Ayuk. It's a lot.
Oh, man. I always go back to who are the more established players in the locker room and say, you see the potential of Ayuk, and I'd be very reluctant to let him go. But if you're giving up 2, you have to give up 2, and that's the only way it's going to get done. I don't think Ayuk is the one that should hold up that trade either, especially if you still get a hold on to Kittle and Warner.
Warner. Yeah.
So you still have a lot of pieces there. And again, when we're talking about Deshaun Watson, we're talking about a quarterback that can lead your team for a decade. He's 25 years old. So you always
they could sign someone like Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, there are wide receivers available.
Yeah.
I mean, Ayuk is terrific, but he could help you get Watson. So what do you think, Maverick? So, is it too much? Oh, no, Nick, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say if that was the offer, 2 first-round picks, Bosa and Ayuk.
Yeah.
I pull the trigger. You got to.
I know it's painful, but I think you got to do it. What do you think, Mav?
That feels like 6 first-round picks. Because, Bosa's worth 2 at least, because Khalil Mack was worth 2 firsts and a second, correct?
Good point.
And so, Bosa's at least worth 2 first-round picks at where he is in his contract. And Ayuk, as you said, is probably better value than his 26th overall. So that's a first and maybe a second value. And then
so am I over giving right now? Could it be Bosa, Ayuk, and 1 first?
I would say Bosa and 2 firsts would be definitely enough, in my opinion. I think Houston would have to jump at that, but I don't think the 49ers include Bosa unless it's only 1 first-round pick, just because I think that hurts the defense and they have to figure out how to – they did pretty well on pass rushing with Kerry Hyder as their best guy, but they got to figure out that having a game-breaking defensive end on a rookie contract. But, that would definitely get it done. Scared money.
Yeah, don't make money.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Final follow-up question real quick for both of you guys. Do you think the Texans cutting Watt today makes them potentially interested in a Bosa package?
Yes.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. Yep. So
something they should have been already, even with Watt, they should have been interested.
Yeah, it's been floated out there a bunch of times. Again, the Niners can't help the Texans necessarily replace Watson, but they can give them Nick Bosa and a couple of first-round picks and maybe an all-pro wide receiver as well. The Niners have assets. It's just if they want to go all in. Historically, they don't. They'll trade a second for Dee Ford or Jimmy Garoppolo or a third for Trent Williams. That's kind of how they do things. They see themselves as New England West a little bit, and New England doesn't do things like this. So, but let's keep talking about Deshaun Watson. But
I have another layer to this because I really don't think the Texans would want Tua Tagovailoa from the Dolphins because I think they would be more enticed to pick a quarterback at the top of this year's draft and have their preference. So let's say the Dolphins end up in a situation where they have both Watson and Tua Tagovailoa. Let's say Tua could be had for a second-round pick. Is he more enticing than a guy like Sam Darnold as far as coming to play for Kyle Shanahan?
The only thing in the report, Tyler Dunn said, and it sounded like it was written by the agent, that Caserio loves Tua and was, it was in the report, loves Tua. I don't know. Who knows?
I didn't read the article yet, so I'll have to catch up.
Again, he doesn't sound like he was talking to Caserio. It sounded like he was talking to Mulugeta or whatever. So who knows? Who knows?
It'd be hard to sell me on Tua coming to the 49ers as long as the right side of the offensive line stays how it is, because Tua's a lefty, and if Mike McGlinchey is his blindside protector, and think of all the picks where Nick Mullins threw where the guy was rushing in his face, and then imagine that being a blindside block, and then you get Zadarius Smith on Justin School weekly.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a really good point. All right, last Deshaun Watson question, and then we're going to move on to another quarterback. And this is, it's a Niner question in the sense that if they do want to go after him, I think they need to answer this question. Because as great as this kid is on the field, he's not a kid, he's a man. Deshaun Watson. it's a little strange what's going on with the Texans, and he is justified to an extent. But my question is, he wants out. He wants off the Texans. He signed a huge extension with them less than a year ago. Why did he sign that? If he knew that this organization was so bad, or did he not know? Because it sounds like Andre Johnson, all these Texans lifers are quite aware. What's up?
I think, well, obviously it was after the DeAndre Hopkins trade, so that is a weird coincidence, but things change. Think if you told me last September when Deshaun Watson signed his contract, if you told me Russell Wilson would want to be traded, then I would think you were crazy. Mm-hmm. Things change weekly, and the way Bill O'Brien handled the whole season, the way they handled the coaching process, I think kind of pushed him over the edge. And yeah, he signed a contract, but think how many times players have signed contracts and then immediately wanted new ones. I think Darrelle Revis held out of like 6 straight training camps because you sign a contract. Doesn't mean you're playing it. It's sometimes the player holds the value. And I think Deshaun Watson is right to want to be traded, and the Texans are right to accept the best offer. They don't have to just take any old offer, even though Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. If they don't want to trade him, if they want to hurt their future by just holding on to him and having him sit out, that's their right. And it's going to be a weird soap opera scenario, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
The timing of his extension is weird. It was after DeAndre Hopkins was traded. And if you remember what Watson said earlier this offseason, was that he was a level 2 on his angry scale once they departed with Hopkins. So he wasn't thrilled about that. And no quarterback would be thrilled about losing one of, if not the best wide receiver in football. So maybe there's some human element involved in him accepting his contract extension, where he signed it at 23, 24 years old, has the opportunity to become a $100 million heir. You know, that's tough for a person of that age to turn down that kind of money, to have the wits to be able to say, I can see I'm not going to be happy with this franchise, this organization long term, when there is a paper saying that you're going to make $150 million, whatever it is, over the course of the next 5-6 years. So I do believe that there was just a little bit of him being a young human being presented that kind of cash for the first time. But it definitely raises an eyebrow as to why he would accept that contract. And there was rumblings last offseason that he wanted to be traded too. So there's definitely a lot of questions there. I don't have the answers, but it definitely raises an eyebrow.
Yeah, it just seems a little inconsistent here. I mean, I understand signing the contract. It's a lot of money. It just seemed like he's trying to sell to us that he's had this epiphany about the organization, that it's just a terrible organization and it's irreparable. And it's like on principle. They don't listen to him. They're backward. It's hopeless. But I mean, they point to this Easterby guy. He's been in the organization a long time. He knew he was there. I just feel like you signed this contract. You didn't expect to go 4-12. Then you did go 4-12. And now you're looking for reasons to get off the team because you don't want to go 4-12 again because the team sucks. And so you say like, well, it's about the GM. They didn't ask me about the coach. That just seems like a disgruntled 25-year-old looking for reasons to get the hell out of town. And maybe I'd be doing the same thing. I don't want to go 4-12 because ultimately it's going to be his fault eventually if he keeps losing. People are going to point the finger at him like, dude, you're supposed to be able to overcome stuff like this. So does he have a real ethical issue with ownership? Yeah, maybe. But I think he also just doesn't want to be on a loser. And so why this is relevant to the Niners is if you trade for him and you gut your team and you go 6-10 or 5-11, who knows? Maybe in the offseason he has a problem with Jed York or someone. He finds a reason to be a malcontent. I don't know. Is that too many levels? It just seems like psychology. Like, really? Yeah. Your eyes are open up to the organization now, or you just went 4-12 and you won off? Because I wouldn't want to play for a 4-12 team either. But you signed a contract.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I have a hard time seeing Deshaun Watson being the type of person getting what he wants, leaving the Houston organization, going to a place that he has on his list as far as top suitors, and then having an unsuccessful year as far as win losses go.
I mean, every time that he has a losing season, is he gonna pout his way off a team? That's all I want to know. No, is it really principled here, or is it just, hey, I went 4-12, this sucks, I don't like it?
Yeah, without knowing Deshaun Watson personally, I
know.
don't think he would do
Yeah,
that. I don't know.
Sorry to put you guys in that situation. I don't want you to speculate.
No, you're
speculate.
good. You're good.
The Houston Army's going to kill us, Grant.
I'm so sorry. We're going to take a couple questions real quick. Sean says, buyer beware. Don't let Grant near your home for sale. Man, Grant, just throw in Kittle, Kyle, and Lynch for a quarterback that was 4-12 last year. LOL. Well, it's a good point.
QB wins aren't a stat.
It's not a stat, but I think we can all agree that the quarterback of all the positions on the football team has the most impact on winning. The most.
Oh, absolutely.
And for a guy who's supposed to be in the running for best quarterback in the league, Sys Data Hub, which you watch, I put you onto that, Maverick. You know what's up. They ranked him number 1. And yet all of that talent and skill and leadership and moxie helped the team get to 4 wins. It's very strange to me. And then you look at the Raiders, who had a worse defense, maybe a better coach, a worse defense, won 8 games with Derek Carr. I don't get it. And I'm not taking a shot at Watson. I think I would trade Bosa in the picks for him because he's a hell of a player. But there's something about him that I just don't get. And if he comes here, I can't wait to cover him because he seems like an enigma in a way. Can't wait.
Well, there is something to be said about, one, the Houston offensive line isn't the best thing in the world. And their defense also, even with J.J. Watt, was not outstanding. Vernon Hargreaves was one of their top corners. And I think we can all agree he did not live up to his draft standing with Tampa. And who was his number 1 receiver once Will Fuller was out? It was Brandon Cooks, who's been traded, 13 times in the last 5 years. Watson, as you said, Sports Info Solutions is the best. And I think Watson should have been a top 4 guy in the MVP voting. He was outstanding this year just because, just look at what Mike Trout does. Like, I know it's different sports, but just because your team's not winning doesn't mean you're an MVP level player.
Hey, again, I would trade for Deshaun Watson. I just feel like if you are going to trade 2 firsts and Nick Bosa for a guy, these are the conversations you have to ask. Is Deshaun Watson principled with his stance against the Texans, or is this what he does when he has a losing season? Because clearly he's not immune to having losing seasons. Bringing him on our team doesn't guarantee 10-6 every year. Clearly it doesn't. So we just got to know, does he have a leg to stand on with Houston? And you know what? He really may. There was someone in here who put a $5 question in and I lost it. For whatever it's gone. So if you put it back in there in all caps, I'll ask I hate to have you guys donate for nothing. That's terrible. So I forget who it was. Put it in all caps. I'll get to it. This is from Juso Messed Up. Bosa and Grant is enough for Watson. You guys are really overestimating my trade value. I think I'm really worth maybe no more than a 5th. At this point, but maybe next year. Man, I'm sorry I missed that.
What would be your comp value if you were hired elsewhere? My
comp value?
Well, because when coaches...
Oh, a 3rd next year and a 3rd year after? Yeah. No, I don't think so. Sorry I missed that question. If you put it in all caps, I'll get to it. All right, moving on. And I know who it was, so don't just start putting all caps in there because I know who it was. All right, we got to move on. So we did Watson. Hell of a player. He's expensive. He seems to be available. Another quarterback who's a hell of a player and seems to be available is Russell Wilson. This thing is weird. It seems like it's getting very tense in Seattle. They've tried to win with him. They haven't been to the Super Bowl with him in 6 years. He's elite. He's at least as good as Deshaun Watson. He's older than Watson. If they trade him, they could get a lot for him. Wilson would be cheaper for his other team because of the prorated bonus, yada, yada, yada. Is Russell Wilson a better trade target for the 49ers than Watson? And put to the side the fact that the Niners and Seahawks are in the same division and it may be a deal breaker just for that alone. Just put that to the side and discuss Watson versus Wilson. If we can, just for the sake of argument, like we're in a college class.
No, because the age differential between Wilson and Watson, knowing that they're going to demand what their respective teams are going to want in return is similar. I go with Watson purely based on the fact that he's younger.
Okay.
It's hard for me to take out the fact that it's a deal breaker them being in the division because I think Seattle would rather die than do that. But if I do take that out, just think of what Russell Wilson's angry about in Seattle is no offensive line, especially interior offensive line. They invested in Dwayne Brown, but the interior has been really bad. And I said this yesterday. What gives him the impression that the 49ers interior offensive line is any better? It is better, but it's not like Daniel Brunskill jumps off the page when Russell Wilson's looking at offensive lines around the league. It's not like Laken Tomlinson also jumps off the page. They are better than what Seattle has, but it's not that much better where he'd be running to come to the 49ers if, let's say, the 49ers were in the AFC and the trade was possible.
Good points. But I'm not going to address whether or not the Seahawks want to send him here or whether Russell Wilson would want to come here, because I just don't know. I'm guessing Russell Wilson would love to play the Seahawks twice a year, just like Richard Sherman did. The offensive line is a serious concern, although I don't think people know how bad the Niners offensive line is. I don't think people really know. That might be our secret. But
It is.
I'm going to say that, yes, Russell Wilson is a better trade target for the 49ers than Deshaun Watson. Theoretically, if they can get him. Because, one, the fact that he's better than Deshaun Watson. I love Deshaun Watson. Russell Wilson's better. Russell Wilson never had a 4-12 season. Been on a better franchise. But physically, he can do everything Deshaun Watson does, and I think he's just a better quarterback. Anyway, so there's that. And the fact that he has the age factor, that he's 32 and not 25, means I think he would cost less in a trade. I don't think you'd have to give up the equivalent of 4 first-round picks for Russell Wilson, maybe be 3. And then also he'd be cheaper financially. His cap number would be like 19 and then like 20 something. It wouldn't be that bad. Watson would be cheaper this year, but then down the line, he'd be like 35, 36 million a year. I think it'd be easier to actually build a team around Russell Wilson than Deshaun Watson. This Russell Wilson thing is highly intriguing, and I think the Niners shouldn't just write it off because they think they have no chance. I mean, the Niners and Seahawks did pull off a trade with each other. A little trivia for you, Maverick. When was the last time Seattle and the Niners made a trade?
I know they were in a trade for that failed North Carolina defensive lineman. Kentwan Balmer.
Oh, no, much more recently than this. John Lynch was involved. Kyle Shanahan was involved. Pete Carroll was involved. It's a first-round pick.
Oh, yeah. They trade back in. That was what, the Reuben Foster one or no?
That's right. Yeah. Reuben Foster. Hey, I don't know. It could happen. Maverick's like,
yeah,
it's not going to happen. Grant, don't stop misleading your YouTube followers. It could happen.
Yeah, if that happened, though, they better be getting Deshaun Watson with those picks they get for Wilson, the Seahawks. So then,
of course.
Oh, now you're back in a hole.
The one area that you can't not acknowledge is that they are within the same division. Just that alone will drive up the asking price for Russell Wilson. So that's why I'm pretty sure that the trade compensation would be the same. Trading Wilson who's a Hall of Fame quarterback within the division, in comparison to what you'd have to give up for Deshaun Watson.
Honestly, the Seahawks should have traded Wilson 2 years ago to Arizona for Kyler Murray. I said it at the time. I still feel that way. The Seahawks need to get a quarterback on a rookie deal. Pete Carroll doesn't know what to do with a Hall of Fame quarterback making that. He doesn't. He's tried. He doesn't know what to do. Those offensive coordinators stink. It's a defense run game team. They should have had Kyler Murray. They should have traded him in the division. And if they trade Russell Wilson to the Niners aren't helping you replace him. They'll help you get Nick Bosa. You can have a great D end, but I don't know what you're going to do at quarterback. CJ Beathard's available.
They would lose more games too, just because Russell Wilson played some deal with the devil, and every single Hail Mary he throws is completed. It's just unreal. I think that's a big reason why they win.
Okay. I promise we're not going to talk about Russell Wilson again until tomorrow. Okay? All right, that's the end. So now let's talk about the Pouncey brothers. Both of them retired. Excellent centers. Were they both on the free agent market? I don't know. But now they're gone. And what we know is the Niners can't get them. So other guys are going to move up the pecking order because that's how it works. Does their retirement affect the Niners' ability to get a top center this offseason? Maverick, why don't you start us off? I know you got a lot to say.
I think it does, just because the Chargers have a lot of interior offensive linemen on the free agent market. I believe both guards and their backup interior guy, Ryan Groy, and they lose Mike Pouncey. So now they definitely need to re-sign at least 2 of those guys to keep some consistency in their offensive line. Now Pittsburgh needs a center. That makes the guys in the draft a lot more important. Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey, the Quinn Miners, is that how you say it? The Wisconsin Whitewater guy. And Trey Hill. All their draft stock went up. And then Corey Linsley, Alex Mack probably made $2 more million just off this retirement alone.
Whew. Yeah, I don't think it completely hurts their chances of getting a top center in free agency, and that's an area the 49ers need to address. Weston Richburg should be cut at some point this offseason to clear up a lot of cap, but I believe it has to be after June 1st. But yeah, I don't think the retirement of the Pouncey Bros hurts their chances of landing a guy like Alex Mack. He's already spoken about being intrigued with the reunion with Kyle Shanahan, so I don't think it hurts their chances too much.
Also, I don't know that much about the Pouncey Bros, but they're controversial, and I think some teams don't want them. Like, not every team would be in the market for the Pouncey Bros, like the Niners, for example. When they were in the market for a center, who was the one that went to the Chargers?
Mike was on the Chargers, and Marquise has been with the Steelers.
I said, hey, the Niners should sign Mike Pouncey because he's a really good player. Both of them are like first-round picks, right? They're legit athletes. And the Niners went and signed Richburg instead. And I was like, what? Why would you sign the worst player? And then all kind of, burner accounts from people in the organization or just Niner fans. I don't know the difference. We're like, no, Pouncey's a terrible person. Richburg's such a better guy, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know that, only a certain few franchises like these guys anyway. I don't know.
Weren't they implicated in the Jonathan Martin stuff?
Yeah, and they were friends with Aaron Hernandez, and they free Aaron Hernandez. I don't know. I'm not Pouncey experts, but I thought the Niners should have signed Mike in 2018. I don't know. Might have been better off. Viet says, "Happy New Year's. You're the Ox. Ox equals Texan. Texan equals Watson. Watson equals Niners. Niners equals Super Bowl. Mark it."
Nice.
That was strong. Loved it. Good topic, Maverick. I think it's trivia time.
Oh, okay.
I think it's trivia time. I
There we
don't
go.
have a piece of paper though. I'm gonna have to wing it. I'm gonna lose today. That's all right.
I have paper if you need me to keep score this time.
Are you gonna walk it over to me? That's all right.
Yeah.
Can I have a piece of paper, please? I'm good.
Okay, so we have 3 categories. First one, don't sue me, Jason or Jordan, is only Shans. And then it's the worst offenses in franchise history, and that was inspired by Austin Page's suggestion on Twitter. And then who was the next pick? And then finally, there is a Final Jeopardy, which was inspired by Austin Ray's suggestion on Twitter. If you have Twitter categories, tweet them at me. It makes my life easier.
Real quick, I'm seeing a bunch of comments asking me what I have in my background and why I don't have I'm not at home. I'm in a special location. I'm not saying where I am. I'm off site. So anyway, let's move. That's the answer. I'm not at home. I'm on vacation, but I don't take days off. So let's talk.
You're there for Rosen, right?
Yeah. Me and Josh and Chip Kelly gonna hang out.
Gross.
Oof.
Okay. So only Shans, first category.
I'm not feeling confident today.
Where did Kyle Shanahan play collegiately?
Texas. I win.
I got it before Grant. I'm
gonna give a tie on that one.
Okay.
Wow, we go to the instant replay.
Did it sound to you like you said it first? Because it sounded to me like I said it first. There must be a little bit of a lag.
I heard Grant first, but
whoa. Let's look at the comments.
That's fine. Give it to Nick. I don't care. I'm gonna beat him anyway. I don't need it. Any alternatives to trading Bosa? Yeah, me. I'm worth 2 firsts. Are you kidding me? Sorry, Jason. Hit up the Cohn phone tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Yeah, give it to Nick. I don't need it. That's cool. Give it to Nick.
All right.
Okay. Horatio says he heard Grant first, but
I want Nick to have it. I want Nick to have it.
We'll give it to Nick.
I want Nick to have it.
Oh, really? Cool. Okay, but Ruben says Nick, and Jack says Nick. I'm gonna flip.
No, I heard Nick first. I think Nick got it. I think Nick got it.
Mine.
We'll keep going. And remember, you guys each have a phone a friend.
Okay, sounds good.
Comments. Okay, who can name more current or former NFL head coaches that come from a Shanahan coaching tree? And just disclaimer,
can we go 1 for 1?
Yeah, I use Wikipedia for this, so if I'm missing someone, sorry, I'll trust you if I'm wrong.
A Shanahan coaching tree.
So, yeah, either.
Wow. Either Mike or Kyle?
I'm gonna get
Yes.
worked.
Oh man, this is gonna go on forever. Okay.
Well, okay, so I found 1, 2, 3,
my
4,
God.
5, 6, 7, 8 official guys that worked under one of the two and then became a head coach. And then if you like go branches of that tree,
Oh, they have to be head coaches.
yeah, head coaches.
Oh,
So
okay.
so like
Currently,
yeah, so McDaniel, if he was hired
Oh my
somewhere
God!
else,
Don't start
would
saying
not be
names. Okay. Don't start
I'll
saying
go
answers.
first.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you go first. You go first.
Sean McVay.
Oh, that's my answer.
that's one.
Okay.
Yusuf got 2 in the
Okay.
Oh, Yusuf got 3 in the
Oh wait, hold on. I got to put the comment section. Don't look at the comments. I'll throw that away.
Whoa,
All right.
I'm already on private chat.
All right. Okay. Robert Saleh.
That's one.
Oh, we're gonna count Robert Saleh
Well,
like a defensive.
Oh, I got better, more
yeah,
obvious ones.
he was a coordinator under a Shanahan and became a head coach.
Wow. Okay.
You said Sean McVay like that wasn't obvious.
and we're talking. In
I got an even more obvious one for you, and you're not gonna get it.
Okay.
I'm putting pressure on you
No.
now. Now you can't think. Now you're locking up. Pressure.
I knew that this was all bad from the jump. I knew it was all bad. Let's
I can
man.
go on,
So
on,
you're saying
on.
defensive coaches, so it doesn't have to be under his offensive coaching tree. Just as long as
Any
you were under
head coach who worked for Kyle or Mike at some point.
I'm stalling.
Yes,
right
you're
now.
stalling. You're filibustering. It's okay. Take your time.
Oh man. Okay, I gotta go.
Can I just name one more just to piss off Nick?
Go ahead.
Kyle Shanahan.
That is correct. Kyle Shanahan is one.
I'm gonna win by saying Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh.
that was a layup.
Oh yeah.
I'm going through the.
I didn't even have that in my answers, but once you said it, I was like, oh yeah.
I'm gonna phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
I'm gonna use it early on. Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn is correct.
Matt
Shout out
LaFleur.
Tebow.
Matt LaFleur also correct.
Oh man.
You can go forever, man.
No, give Grant this one. Gary
Kubiak.
I was good. Yeah.
Kubiak, Art Shell.
Oh. Art Shell doesn't count.
well,
Art Shell was his head coach.
Well, but I don't know. I'm
I
going
would
to talk
Coach
about
underneath Mike.
this
Mike
is
coached underneath Art.
Wikipedia.
Fair enough.
given
Oh, no.
me-
Mike would be in the Art Shell coaching tree, technically.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's.
And I thought we were
accurate.
talking about present head coaches.
No, name a current or former NFL head coach that come. Well, I mean,
Okay, one
Anthony
is one
Lynn
and
would.
one. I earned
Anthony
that one.
Lynn wouldn't have counted
All right.
that.
Grant won.
Yeah, Jim Haslett also.
Oh,
and then,
Haslett, that's a good one.
I believe Zach Taylor would come from the McVay subset,
True.
and Ben McAdoo and Mike McCarthy come from the Jim Haslett.
Oh, wow. I wasn't going to get that far. That's
Raheem Morris.
a good one. That's a good
Morris.
one. That's
Vance
true.
Joseph came from Kubiak,
Wow.
and there's probably a lot more.
Yeah. Okay, 1-1.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
Kyle Shanahan's offense is ranked inside the top 5 in rushing yards 4 times and passing yards 3 times as an offensive coordinator. So offensive coordinator, who was his starting quarterback the year he led the NFL in rushing yards, and the other year he led the NFL in passing yards, total yards, rushing.
I know the answer.
So wait, but what?
How do we do this?
Wait, no.
Ding,
Wait,
ding,
Maverick,
ding.
can you repeat the question one more time? That's for the starting running
Shanahan,
back?
quarterback. Kyle Shanahan's offense is ranked inside the top 5 in rushing yards 4 times, in passing yards 3 times as an offensive coordinator. Who was the starting quarterback the year he led the NFL in rushing yards, and the other year he led the NFL in passing yards?
So it's the same
Crypto
quarterback
King
twice.
has it right. It has
I know
one
it.
right. No, it's different
know it.
quarterbacks. Grant, you
know
get
it.
one, and Nick can get the other to tie.
All right, Nick, you go first. You can pick
passing?
whatever you want.
For
Passing yards?
passing or rushing.
I'm going to say Matt Ryan.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Matt Schaub,
Matt Schaub is correct. Can you get the rushing yards quarterback?
Robert Griffin.
That is correct.
Oh,
So
work.
2-1.
Grant is up 2-1.
Matt Ryan, that was a trick question. I knew he threw that in there just to throw you
Grant
off.
himself today.
Who had the number 1 passing? Was it Cousins that year? It wasn't Cousins. It might have been Cousins.
Wait,
it might have
what?
been the
No,
Washington.
number 1 passing
2017.
yards was Schaub.
No, in 2016. when Matt Ryan threw for all those yards? Who did
let me go to Kyle Shanahan's page.
It might have been Kirk Cousins, man. It might have been Washington.
So Washington with the rushing yards was
no, the passing. Who led the league in passing yards in 2016? Which team?
2016. I don't know.
Because which quarter? Because that's anyway. Never mind. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Matt Ryan was fifth.
Yeah.
Right. Because they ran the ball a lot in Atlanta. Anyway. Okay. Moving on.
Okay. Kyle Shanahan's Pro Football Reference coaching history lists 7 teams he's coached for, 6 NFL and 1 college. Name them.
You want to go first?
I'm gonna miss the college one. Okay. 49ers.
UCLA.
That's correct. UCLA is correct.
The Texans.
Correct.
The Falcons.
Correct.
The Washington football team.
Correct.
The Browns.
Correct.
And there's one more.
Yes.
Can you list the ones we've said so far?
You said UCLA, Houston, Washington, Cleveland, Atlanta, and San Francisco.
The Broncos.
That's incorrect.
Oh my!
DJG from Cali has it in the comments.
Private chat. I saw Grant's eyes move.
And so does Yusuf.
I don't know it. Hold on. He went. Oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay is correct.
3-1.
I believe that's where he met Raheem Morris.
It is. That's where he got his start. He got his start with Gruden, not with his dad.
So that means
honestly, I feel like Kyle and Gruden are so similar, but that's just my feeling.
Would Kyle make a good Monday Night Football analyst?
Yes, he would be fantastic. He wouldn't have all the personality, but he would have so much insight. He's very monotone with his talk. Like, a little more. He's like a Bill. I don't know. Would you find Bill Belichick a good announcer? Maybe not. I don't. I find Kyle interesting.
Apparently he's funny though. Belichick. Apparently he's like funny in real life, like when he's not with the media.
That's good. That's good.
I think Kyle would be interesting. It'd be like a Romo level without the.
It would be so much insight. Yeah, no charisma, but I would listen. I'd find it interesting. He'd have a lot to say. He couldn't hold back. He'd have no filter. I think it'd be cool.
I wish the NFL did more of what. This is way off topic, but what like college football does, like when they do the mega cast and they do the coaching video or the coaching broadcast of like the national championship, and they had coaches doing that, or college basketball does that.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
Jay Wright does it every year when Villanova gets eliminated.
That's cool. All right, let me get back to beating Knicks. All right.
Yeah, sorry. Kyle Shanahan has winning records against 3 divisions, including the playoffs. So including the playoff record. What are they? 3 divisions.
He has winning records against 3 divisions.
3 divisions.
As a head coach?
As a head coach, sorry.
The NFC North.
That is 1.
The AFC South.
That's correct.
Ooh.
That was impressive. Wow.
Like, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars one time. I don't know.
Yeah, he's 3-1 against the AFC South.
Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be one more.
I did this all by hand also, so
you could be wrong. No, it's okay. I don't know the answer, man. I'm glad you have to guess. But if you get it wrong, I have to guess too. And if I get it wrong, it's no point.
Yeah. I think I got it though. I got it. You said it's a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
The AFC North.
That's correct.
Oh, that's a good one. I wouldn't have got that in a million years.
He's 3-1 against the AFC North. If you want to hear the rest,
I don't.
Yeah. He's 500 against a lot of teams or a lot of divisions. But okay, Nick gets that.
It doesn't feel like the score should be 3-2 right now. I feel like I'm getting blown out.
No. That was a great one, dude. I wouldn't have got that. Was a good one.
Those last 2 was impressive.
Was
I did not think you guys would get that.
AFC South was just a guess. I just they beat the Jaguars once. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's because of Jimmy, because they beat Houston, they beat Tennessee, and they beat Jacksonville with Garoppolo. So that's like solely because of that. You say, what if Garoppolo didn't play
Jimmy out of town? Have you forgotten what he did?
Well, didn't you just write that article? What if he didn't play well in 2017 or didn't play in 2017?
Dude, that guy, those 5 games set him up for life.
Those 5 games almost got you a trivia answer.
Almost. But Nick got it. All right, are we moving on? Are we still with only
next category? The worst offenses in franchise history, and this is inspired by Austin Page on Twitter, who suggested best DVOA seasons by defenses, and I went down a DVOA rabbit hole on Football Outsiders and found that the 49ers actually appear twice on Football Outsiders worst offensive DVOA teams ever. They have
Guys,
two.
we can't. I got to wrap this up within the next 10
Okay.
minutes because I'm supposed to be on vacation.
Okay, I'll go quicker. The 2005
Trust me.
49ers, negative 40.4% are fourth, and the 2007 49ers are negative 32.2%.
Say it again. What was the first one?
The
Year-wise?
2005 49ers and 2007 49ers are horrible. And they're actually, the 2005 49ers are the worst DVOA team overall ever, according to Football Outsiders.
Ever.
Negative 55.5%.
Did they not have DVOA in 2004? Because the Dennis Erickson team was pretty bad too.
No, they have it dating back further than that, but that's just because they have.
So the 2005 team was worse than the 2016 team that went.
I'll send you the link.
Wow.
You can check it out.
The Chip Kelly team was really bad. Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Okay, so despite coaching the fourth worst offense ever, this coordinator was hired as a head coach and won a Super Bowl.
Mike McCarthy.
Grant gets that one.
Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
Who are the only three players to score rushing or receiving touchdowns in both the 2005 and 2007 season?
Oh, wait, say that one more time.
Did I say it again?
There are only three players to score rushing or receiving touchdowns in both the 2005 and 2007 season.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Arnaz Battle.
That's one.
Frank Gore.
That's
No,
two.
Arnaz.
Both with 9.
I
There's
should
one more.
Why did you say Arnaz Battle? You should have said Frank Gore. I
know.
wouldn't have gotten Arnaz Battle.
I'm like one of those guys who likes to get the funny answer out there first before the. I didn't play that. I didn't play my cards right there at all.
You would have had it. I would have never had Arnaz.
I know.
Now I have no idea. But again, if you
damn.
get it wrong, I have to guess too. I don't know. So is one more person? Who's on both team?
Yeah, it's not a quarterback.
Arnaz Battle. God, that guy was so mediocre.
Brandon Lloyd.
Brandon Lloyd's a good guess, but no.
Vernon Davis wasn't on the team in 2005. I don't know who's on the team in 2005. Terrell Owens wasn't on the team in 2005.
You're not going to get this.
I can't even name guys on this team.
Moran Norris.
Good guess, but no.
I give up.
Let's
I give
keep
up. I don't want the
guessing.
point.
Come on, Grant.
Maurice Hicks.
Who?
Maurice Hicks. He scored 3 touchdowns in 2005. And
I don't even know I don't even remember
one.
that guy.
Yeah, he scored one in 2007.
Maverick, was he number 43?
Yeah, he had a high number as a running back. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah.
I literally don't remember
I
that guy.
expect you to know that.
Wow.
No, I remember Maurice Hicks.
I remember him. He's a classic guy.
Classic.
Classic.
Okay, so is it still 4-2? It's 4-2. 4-2.
Yes, 4-2. Who was the only player on the 2005 49ers with more than 3 touchdowns?
Who is the who?
Who was the only player on the 2005 49ers that had more than 3 touchdowns?
You go. Say it again. Say it again.
Brandon Lloyd.
Brandon Lloyd is correct.
I thought it was going to be Arnaz Battle.
Oh, no. Weirdly enough, Frank Gore and Arnaz Battle tied with 3 touchdowns in 2005 and then 6 in 2007. They had the same thing. But, okay.
Brandon Lloyd.
Who had more offensive
4-3.
fumbles? Yes, 4-3. Who had more offensive fumbles in 2007? 49er quarterbacks or the field, meaning wide receiver, running back, tight
49er
end?
quarterbacks. 49er quarterbacks.
Okay, Grant, do you want to go quarterback or do you want to go with the other one?
I guess I'll go with the one Nick didn't say.
It is quarterbacks.
Oh.
17 fumbles by the quarterbacks, 14 by the rest. Trent Dilfer had 8, Alex Smith had 6, and Sean Hill had 3.
Trent Dilfer. Okay. What year was this?
Remember 2007. Remember
2007.
we talked about that offensive line and how bad it was? Yeah. It was really bad. These two bad teams actually totaled 9 wins.
4-4.
Yeah, 4-4.
Wow.
So the two
about
teams,
that?
05 and 07, totaled 9 wins, which is bad, but it could have been worse. Who were the 3 teams they beat more than once?
The Cardinals.
Cardinals is one of them.
Oh, man.
So if you take 05 and 07, they played a bunch of teams, and they beat 3 teams more than once.
I don't know. I don't know. The Seahawks.
Seahawks are incorrect.
Okay.
The Rams.
The Rams are 2, so Nick gets the point. And do you want to
I was
guess?
living in LA back then. I don't really remember the Niners.
Do you want to guess the last one or no?
No, I lose.
Do I get a bonus point if I get
Why
it?
do you keep hitting me up for my UCLA years, man? I was watching They don't play the 49ers in Westwood.
Those were formative years in my 49er viewing, was being able to handle Sean Hill and JT O'Sullivan for 16 games. And that, yeah. Well, okay. And the last one is Tampa Bay. They beat Tampa with Ken Dorsey and Cody Pickett in 05, and they beat him again in 07. Weirdly enough, 2 games against the Seahawks in 07. Do you know how many total points the Niners scored? This isn't a question, but in 2 games against Seattle, the 49ers totaled 3 points in 07.
Wow.
What a team.
What a team.
Yeah. Okay. And
who was the offensive coordinator in 07?
I have to look off the top of my head. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was that.
But,
anyway, it was the guy who replaced Norv Turner, and he was bad. Anyway, I just gave up the lead. I was up 4-2. Now I'm down 5-4. I got to get my stuff together. You killed me with this 05-07 crap.
This is this is from 2010 to present, and this is the last category before final. Who was the next pick? So I'm going to give you a draft pick and like a clue about the guy that's the next pick, and you have to tell me who he is. So you have to know guys around the NFL.
Yes.
So the 49ers picked LaMichael James, who was one of the best players from arguably the best football school around, 61st overall in 2012. What still active cornerback who has 23 interceptions and made 2 Pro Bowls was picked next?
Janoris Jenkins.
That's your guess? Nick, do you have a guess?
Wasn't Janoris Jenkins in the first round? Let me second. Still in the league. Can we get like
Janoris Jenkins was in that draft because the Niners took the other Jenkins.
I'll give you,
but it's not Jenkins.
Nick, and if you get it wrong, I'll give you the teams he's played for. And
it's not Janoris Jenkins.
It's not Janoris Jenkins.
That is the hint. 2012. Hey, ask the question again so I can think about it when he gets his.
LaMichael James was picked 61st overall in 2012. What's still active cornerback who has 23 interceptions and has made 2 Pro Bowls was picked next?
That is a great question, by the way. Man.
Dang. I just blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. That was bad. I got to get back in this game. I got to focus.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a hint here.
Okay, so he played for the Chargers and the Packers in his career.
Casey Hayward.
Oh.
Casey Hayward is correct.
Boom, nice. I got a point.
5-5. Okay, and the rest goes in similar fashion. So
I like it. This is a good I like this.
Yeah,
we can do these all day because there's
we have 5 minutes.
Well, I meant like future. Well, okay. So
let's get up. This is good.
In the 5th round of the same draft, the 49ers took Darius Fleming in the 5th round. What Cal wide receiver who is also available to sign this offseason was picked next?
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones is correct.
Nice.
65. Ooh, I like this game. I like this game.
Well, you knew that because I write about Marvin Jones every other week.
He's fantastic, and I covered him in college. Yeah, covered him once.
He's the man.
Yeah.
In 2013, the 49ers selected Nick Moody, 180th overall, to shore up their special teams. What running back who would have led the 49ers in rushing yards this season was picked next?
Can you say it again?
I can give you the team that drafted him. So
no, don't do it yet. Say it again.
In 2013, the 49ers selected Nick Moody, 180th overall, to shore up their special teams. Ooh. What running back who would have led the 49ers in rushing yards this season had he been on the Niners was picked next?
I have no idea. You know, Nick? I have no idea.
Oh, man.
I defer to you if you want to Yes. I have no clue. This is a tough one. 2013, we're talking 6th round? 5th round?
5th round. Or whatever 180th.
From 2013.
From 2013. And he rushed for enough yards this season that would have led the 49ers?
Ben Meyerson got it in the comments, but I believe Nick already used his phone a friend, so you could use it.
I'm not gonna do the phone a friend. I'm not gonna do that. I hold myself to a higher standard. I don't know. If you want to give us
I can give you his college, or I can give you the team that drafted him.
Oh, the college
first. Give the college first.
UCF.
No.
Oh! I got it. I know it. Nick, you want to do it? You want to try? I know it. I got it right now.
Man.
Latavius Murray.
Go for it.
Latavius Murray is correct. And he had, I believe, 50 more rushing yards than Jeff Wilson Jr. this year. So he would have led the Niners in rushing.
So is it 6'4"?
That's a good one.
6'4"?
These are great questions, Maverick.
7'5".
7'5". These are great questions. I love these.
Thank you. In 2016, the 49ers took tackle John Theus, who for some reason is in all my frivias. I don't know why.
He really is.
Yeah,
He's in every
but
single one.
they took him 145th overall. What Baltimore
2014?
2016.
2016.
They took him 145th overall. What Baltimore edge rusher, who has 34.5 career sacks, was picked next?
Matt Judon.
Matt Judon is correct.
Nice.
Let's go.
And fun fact, Dak Prescott was picked 2 picks after Rashard Robinson in that draft.
Yeah, I knew that.
Rashard Robinson, the future Richard Sherman, as people tabbed him at the time.
Darnell
Okay.
Dockett said he was going to be the best corner in the division. Thank you, Darnell.
Okay, this is the last one before final. In
7-6.
Yes. In the 2017 draft, the Saints took 2 All-Pro players right after the 49ers drafted Reuben Foster and Akello Witherspoon. Who were the 2 players?
Ryan Ramczyk, Alvin Kamara.
I heard Grant first.
No, I said Ryan Ramczyk. He said Alvin Kamara.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll split it.
We split it. We both knew.
So Grant is up 1 heading into Final Jeopardy.
So whoever gets this question right wins.
Yes.
Okay.
The 49ers have drafted 7 players in the 5th round or earlier that never played a game for them since 2010.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
So the 49ers have drafted 7 players in the 5th round or earlier since 2010 that never played a game for them.
Ooh. 5th round or earlier. Never played a game. 5th round or earlier.
And this was
2010.
inspired by Austin Ray's Trent Ball.
And how many guys are we talking? How many?
There's 7.
7.
You said 5th round or earlier?
Yes.
Never played a game.
And that's
earlier,
including
2010.
like active players that still haven't played a game.
Okay, we'll go back and forth. Nick, you can start us off.
Marcus Lattimore.
Marcus Lattimore is correct.
Jalen Hurd.
Correct.
Brandon Thomas. Do you remember that guard from Clemson?
That's correct.
Ooh.
Joe Williams.
Joe Williams is correct.
Oh, man. I should have saved Brandon Thomas. Lenny was even thinking Joe Williams. Since 2010?
Never played a game.
For the Niners.
49ers.
For the Niners. Ooh.
There are 3 more.
I don't have to get any more questions. I'm already winning. Nick has to beat me.
So I just have to get one, basically.
You got to get
Wilson
one.
got it in the comments.
I don't know if I have any more. I don't think Nick does
I
either.
can give you a hint. One was used in an earlier question.
No.
Oh.
No.
I don't know. One of these guys who was drafted ahead of someone else. I'm sure is one of those guys.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Too bad I can't remember. We were talking about 3 minutes ago.
Was it?
Nick, it's on you, buddy.
I know you got to get out, Grant. Give me.
No. Hey, I'm not trying to. Hey,
all right, I gotta
think about it. Win the game.
Win the game. Oh man.
I can give you the positions if Grant allows me.
Yeah, whatever, man. Help him out.
There's an outside linebacker, there's a defensive back, and there's an offensive lineman.
A defensive
back. Okay, let's go there. So that's pretty broad. It could be safety.
Oh, and you said edge rusher?
Yeah, edge rusher, offensive lineman, and defensive back. And remember, they could have played games for other teams.
Oh, man. Edge rusher that never played a snap for the Niners.
Did he go to Auburn?
I don't know. The edge or the defense back did not go to Auburn.
All right, Nick, you gotta wrap it up right now, man. I'm done. I gotta be out.
I know. I'm gonna go out on a list. Corey Lemon-Yay, but I'm pretty sure he played.
So it's Darius Fleming, who was in an earlier question.
Did John Theus play?
He did. Fawn Cooper did not, though, and Will Redmond, and other guys that didn't play.
Redmond.
And other guys that were drafted but didn't play. Curtis Holcomb, Ronald Johnson, Jason Slowey, Carter Bykowski, Trey Miller, Caleb Ramsey. Yeah. Busta Anderson.
Busta Anderson.
and Kelvin Taylor and Juwan Jennings. And
Hey, this was a lot of fun. I'm taking the win today, though. Although it was close. It was very close. 1 point win. I got to go.
Yeah, good effort.
Thank you guys so much. We had a lot of viewers today. Thank you, Maverick. I love trivia. Great stuff. Nick, you're a hell of a competitor, man. Good stuff.
All right. Right on, Maverick. Right on, Grant. Talk to you guys later.
Take care.
Yeah, see ya.